The council will convene for the purpose of receiving public speak out. We're joined today in the chamber by Councillor Kateri Walsh, and we have two individuals signed up for public speak out. The first individual that's signed up is Kira Holmes. Kira, can you please step forward, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Springfield City Council. I am Kira Holmes to represent Springfield Preservation Trust at 74 Walnut Street. And I am speaking in behalf of Item 15, Ordinance 2023-1 Isolation Hospital Local Historical District. To paraphrase the National Register of Historic Places and MA Chapter 44B, the CPA statute, a historic resource is important to a community because its association with historic events, historic people, architecture, culture, or archaeology. The Isolation Hospital at 1414 State Street in Springfield, Massachusetts, that was erected in 1930, falls under several of these categories for that definition. For one, its architectural style is Art Deco. It is one of the largest Art Deco buildings standing in Springfield, Massachusetts. The other option for this definition would be the historic component, which it was a communicable disease hospital. The Isolation Hospital was operated by the City Health Department as the location for caring for contagious diseases cases. Dr. Charles R. Place, a hospital expert and consultant, reportedly was involved in the layout and design of the building. Springfield architectural firm Kirkham and Parlett produced several other important buildings, including the Commerce High School and the Mass Mutual Complex. Other wonderful Art Deco buildings in New York that are generating revenue are the Empire State Building and the Ghostbusters building on 14 Moore Street, the Fire Building, which is now a condo building. So as you can tell by this, you can see that these places do generate revenue as well as keep their historic structure and generate tourism as well. So I believe that 1414 State Street should be a single building local historic district, similar to Willis Overland Building, which is lofts, similar to Eliza Brookings School, which is now mixed-use apartments, similar to National Needle, which will soon be a Devon self-storage space. These architectural structures are beautiful and should stay for not only current generations, but our posterity. So, in conclusion, Springfield Preservation Trust hopes that you will vote in favor for the Isolation Hospital Local Historical District. Thank you for your time this evening, councilors.
Thank you, Ms. Holmes. We're now joined also by Ward 7 City Councilor Tim Allen, and the next individual and final individual signed up for public speak out is Erica Swallow. Ms. Swallow, you have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record.
Erica Swallow, 64 Washington Road. I'm also speaking today on behalf of the Springfield Preservation Trust, specifically regarding the Isolation Hospital Local Historic District. Kira made a great point regarding both architectural and historical significance, and I wanted to follow up on a question that Councillor Fenton had regarding the owner's receipt of communications. I connected today with Julissa from the Springfield Historical Commission to check in on all of the communications that had been sent, of which there were many. Let's see, 3, 6, 7, 8 notices were sent to the owner. No contact was actually seemingly made, no responses from the owner. I know that also is something that was brought up as potentially problematic. Does the owner know that this ordinance change that's affecting their property is up at City Council? But we would argue that in the previous zone change for this property that had come before the council, that it was obvious that the city had been in contact with the owner regarding that. It was stated by CDO Tim Sheehan that the owner, while they weren't here, were interested in that zone change. So there seems to have been contact in some other way. Why this owner is not responding to notices regarding this local historic district, we're unaware. But I did just want to note that there, and Julissa and Vinnie Walsh are here to potentially speak to those questions directly in case councilors have questions. Beyond a reason of doubt, in my opinion, the Springfield Historical Commission, our nonprofit, the Springfield Preservation Trust, the Massachusetts Historical Commission have all reviewed this local historic district study and all agreed that this property has both architectural and historical significance and should be a single building local historic district. So that is the end of my comments.
Thank you, Ms. Swallow. That will conclude the public speak out portion of our meeting, and we will stand adjourned until our regular meeting at 7 o'clock. The council will come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Walsh.
Present.
Present. Counselor Fenton.
Present.
Present. Counselor Perez. Absent. Counselor Whitfield. Absent. Counselor Govan. Absent. Counselor Allen.
Present.
Present. Counselor Brown. Counselor Brown.
It's hard to hear. Everything is choppy.
Counselor
I don't
Brown,
know if
we're calling the roll. Are you present?
Here, I'm here, but I can't hear it really. I'm just guessing to say here.
Present. Counselor Hurst.
Present.
There's a problem with the audio.
Counselor Click Bruce.
Present.
Present. Counselor Edwards. Present. Counselor Curran. Present. Counselor Davila. Counselor Davila.
Councilor Davila present.
Present. Counselor Letterman.
Present. Counselor Davila, can you confirm that you can hear us clearly on the broadcast? Counselor Davila has disconnected. Attorney Shea, can you confirm that you can hear us clearly on the broadcast? We're going to call a brief recess while we sort out some technical difficulties. We'll reconvene in 5 minutes. I'm just logging back in on the council iPad. Okay. Counselor Davila, can you confirm that you can hear us?
Yes, Mr. President, I can hear you.
Counselor Brown, can you confirm that you can hear us?
Yes, Mr. President, I can hear you.
Okay. The council will come back to order. Madam Clerk, can you please recognize Counselor Davila?
Counselor Davila?
Present.
Present.
Madam Clerk, can you please recognize Counselor Brown?
Counselor Brown?
Present.
Present.
Madam Clerk, can you please recognize Counselor Whitfield?
Counselor Whitfield?
Present.
Present.
And Madam Clerk, for the record, can you please recognize Counselors Perez and Govan?
Counselors Perez and Govan are both absent.
Thank you. Will the council and guests please rise and join us in a moment of silence? Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please let the record reflect that Councilors Davila, Brown, and Whitfield are participating in the proceedings remotely. At this time, are there any reports of committee? Councilor Fenton.
Mr. President, let me get my notes here. The Casino Oversight Committee met on April 25th. I was joined by Councilors Whitfield, Allen, Govan, Letterman, and Click Bruce. And during that meeting, we received an update from MGM on their compliance with the host community agreement for this calendar and fiscal year, along with some of the amenities that have been turned back on at the facility, and an update on their entertainment portfolio, which is exciting for the upcoming summer, including acts like Bruno Mars, Tina Fey, Santana, Bill Burr, and a whole host of others. So that was the report of committee, and we'll be meeting again before the end of the calendar year.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Are there any further reports of committee? Councilor Allen.
Thanks, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met this afternoon at 5:30 to review the finance items on tonight's agenda. In attendance was Councilor Letterman, myself, Councilor Fenton. The other two members of the Finance Committee are Councilor Govan and Councilor Whitfield. They were not able to attend. But we did have a couple of those other two councilors there. Meeting went about 20 minutes. There were no significant items. Everything was approved. Councilor Letterman acted as a member of the committee, made a motion to approve all the items. I seconded. So we'll see those items, of course, here in a little while, but they all were approved in the committee meeting tonight.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Are there any further reports of committee? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to accept the reports of committee.
On accepting the reports of committee, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Govan absent. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Click Bruce?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The reports are accepted. Madam Clerk, will you please call the first item?
The first item is the March Revenue versus Expenditure Report.
Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. Patrick Burns, 90 Clement Street, Springfield. Tonight, I am presenting the March Revenue versus Expenditure Report. It represents the three-quarter mark of the fiscal year. And as you can see on the revenue side, we are right at 75%. And on the expenditure side, we're at 74%. The Finance Department and the Department of Public Works, we're working on finalizing the snow and ice budget. We believe that we can do internal transfers from personal services to other than personal services to address any shortfall within that account. So the snow and ice budget was able to stay under budget for this fiscal year. And that order will be coming hopefully for the next regular meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Are there any questions relative to the report? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to accept the report.
On accepting the report, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The report is accepted. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Next item is Eversource Wilcox Street.
Is there anyone here to speak to this item?
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director. In front of you this evening, there are 4 petitions. Mr. President, you want to do them individually or together?
You can do them together, Mr.
Thank you very much. Item number 1, Eversource on Wilcox Street. It is for the installation of a new light pole. The lighting is requested by the neighborhood. Eversource did a review, so this is for the installation of a new street light. Item number 3, Eversource Gas White Street. The work is actually on Pasadena and Kensington near White Street. It is for the installation of approximately 200 feet of 2-inch line to service a new customer. Item number 4 on the list, Wendell Place, is actually a little bit of a larger project. Just want to make sure I get my information here. It is approximately 460 feet on Wendell Place, 400 feet on Broad Street, Montpelier Street, 270 feet, 175 feet on Arlington Court. Those items are all 2-inch service lines, and 745 feet on Main Street. That work is to replace cast iron main and replace it with medium pressure plastic. And the last item is on Wilbraham Road, Eversource Electric. It's approximately 1,900 feet of new 12 5-inch conduits and 1 new pole to service in that area, and is essentially from Park Lane to Denwall Drive, which is basically in front of Western New England University.
Thank you, Director Signoli. Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Chris. Good to see you again. Just quick question, Chris. You say that the conduit for White Street, that's for a new customer on White Street or Pasadena Street?
The customer is actually on Kensington. So the new main will be right at the intersection of White Street and Pasadena, going down Pasadena a little bit onto Kensington.
So this is a new conduit to provide services to them. What are they using for a heating source now?
I have no idea.
Is that a building on the corner or is that a residential?
I'm sorry, Counselor, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, is that a residential home?
Yes,
or is that a
yes, it's
building?
residential.
Oh,
Yep.
It's residential.
Yep.
Okay, so this is just strictly so that we can get service, gas service.
Yeah, and looking at their mapping, there appeared to be like a gap in the system at that corner. So there other entities will be able to tie into it as well.
Sure. Will this include any kind of upkeep or any kind of maintenance, or just strictly adding?
It's just strictly adding.
Strictly adding.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Are there any further questions for Director Signoli? Seeing none, is there a motion to take items 2 through 5 together?
So moved.
Motion was made by Councilor Allen, seconded by Councilor
Second.
Edwards to take items 2 through 5 together. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the motion to take items 2 through 5 together.
On the motion to combine the items, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. Madam Clerk, without objection, please call the roll on items 2 through 5.
On approving the items, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The petitions are approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 6.
Thank you, Counselor.
Item 6 is a Mass Heal grant increase, no match required, in the amount of $117,120.
See Commissioner Colton Harris is present.
I am. Thank you very much. Helen Carlson Harris, Commissioner, Division of Health and Human Services. This is an increase to an existing grant. The grant is from Boston Medical Center. It is a research grant. Some of our research partners are Tapestry, New North, Bay State, Mercy Medical Center, Open Pantry, Open Door. So we are increasing so that we can also add recovery coaches to this research grant. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Colton Harris. Are there any questions from the council? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to accept the increase in the grant.
On accepting the increase, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the grant is accepted. Madam Clerk, please call item 7.
Item 7 is an order approving intergovernmental agreement for school zone speed signs with the Mass DT.
Director Signoli.
Good evening, Councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director. The DPW has been awarded a grant for materials in kind. An application was made to the Massachusetts DOT for the installation of 2 speed zone signs that will be placed on Wilbraham Road at Duggan Academy. And the speed signs that are in there are the ones that tell you what the speed limit is as you drive by. It tells you what your speed is, and we also gather data from that as well as far as number of vehicles, speed. The grant that we're receiving from Mass DOT is basically the equipment. It is not money. So when we get the equipment, we just have to have it installed.
Thank you, Director Signoli. Are there any questions from the council? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the order.
On approving the order, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The order is approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 8.
Item 8 is the collective bargaining agreement ratification for the International Association of Firefighters, Local 648.
Attorney Mahoney.
Good evening, Councilors. Bill Mahoney, Director of Human Resources and Labor Relations. I'm pleased to report that we have settled 2 contracts with the International Association of Firefighters, Local 648. They represent 251 members in the fire department. They include the privates, the captains and the lieutenants. Negotiations began on January 22nd, 2021. We had approximately 14 bargaining sessions, followed by 3 mediation sessions, and then we had a scheduled 3A hearing in Worcester. And we were fortunate that we were able to reach terms before that hearing commenced on March 28th. It's a 1-year contract followed by a 3-year contract. The first year covers July 1st, 2020 to June 30th of 2021. The second contract covers July 1st, 2021 until June 30th, 2024. The salary increases in the first year. It's 2.5% plus 1% for what is a hazardous duty payment, and 2.5, 2.5, 2.5 for the next 3 years. We've added Juneteenth as a paid holiday under this contract. And we included a $300 tool allowance for, it's just a handful of people who are apparatus repair people in the department. Employees that are under the 10-year residency requirement of this contract will now be required to fill out the annual residency certificates. We've added some documentation dates for the education benefit and for the EMT certification.
Thank you, Attorney Mahoney. Are there any questions from the council? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please.
Mr. President, my apologies. I couldn't get to
Councilor
the hand.
Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Director Mahoney. Good to see you. Some quick questions. First of all, I'm glad that we're able to reach an agreement with the firefighters union. But 2 quick questions that stood out on me. We are including language that say that employees hired after July 8th of 2017 must fill out the certificate of residency. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
If I'm not mistaken, we already have an ordinance to speak to that.
Yeah, this group is not under the ordinance. This group's residency terms are governed by the contract itself, not by the ordinance.
Okay, I got it. Thank you for that clarification. Okay. And I believe that after they are hired, they have a year to move in. Is that correct?
I think the firefighters I think they have to be in at hire. I can go back and check that for you and report back to you on that, but I think they have to be in at the very beginning.
Okay, very well. And now, what did you mention with the EMTs? They're going to be getting a stipend for being EMTs?
That's already in the contract. All we did was we just put a date in when they needed to give us the paperwork for it.
Give it the paperwork. Okay.
Yep.
Very well. All right. I just want to say that I'm pleased that we reached, you guys reached a contract in good faith with the firefighters. As I say many times, they do a fantastic job, and I'm convinced that we have some very good firefighters out there. And thank you, Director. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Allen.
Thanks, Mr. President. Bill, great job. I'm hoping this will pass tonight. I'll support it. Just wanted to point out that this item is about the contract itself, and the next item is about the retroactive
Yes.
money, right?
Yep.
So there is 2 pieces to this. Item 8, the collective bargaining agreement ratification, that's what we're voting on now. And then item 9, free cash to the fire department for the union contract settlement. So just so you know, there's 2 votes on it. Thank you to you, and thank you to all the firefighters, et cetera, for their great work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Councilor Hurst.
Bill, help me understand the residency being required as part of the agreement. What does it matter? Why does it matter? Why is this different?
Well, because as you are probably aware, Counselor, that residency is a mandatory subject of bargaining. So we bargained this into the contract in the last round, I believe it was, where we put in that there was a 10-year requirement for new firefighters that when we hired them, they had to live in the city for a period of 10 years. So those everybody hired, I think, after 2017, I believe.
I see.
Yep.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just basically have a quick statement. I'm pleased. I definitely support the firefighters. I appreciate all the work that you have done and that you continue to do. And I definitely appreciate the fact that you came to terms to allow Juneteenth to be a paid holiday, recognizing Black heritage. So I definitely kudos to you guys for that. And I appreciate you for doing so. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Are there any further questions, comments, or deliberation amongst the council? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval of the collective bargaining agreement. 2/3 majority vote is required.
On approving the agreement, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The agreement is approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 9.
Item 9 is free cash to the Fire Department IAFF Union Contract Settlement in the amount of $2,901,410.06.
Deputy CAFO.
Thank you, Mr. President. Lindsay Hackett, Deputy CAFO, 80 Tamarack Drive. In relation to the IAFF settlement, this is a transfer from free cash over to the Fire Department salary line to cover retro for FY21, FY22, and FY23.
Thank you, Deputy CAFO. Are there any questions relative to this item? Seeing none. Without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on authorizing the free cash transfer. 2/3 majority vote is required.
On authorizing the transfer, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The transfer is approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 10.
Item 10 is a DPW salaries and wages
Director
DP
Signo.
to DPW department accounts in the amount of $201,000.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Director Signoli.
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director. The DPW is looking to move $201,000 from salary line items in the enterprise fund to the OTPS section of our budget for $201,000. $135,000 of it is for gas and diesel as part of our budget this year. I know other departments have been in front of you with movement of funds for gas and diesel due to the price increase, and then also $66,000 for vehicle supplies and accessories for repair of our trash vehicles.
Thank you, Director Signoli. Are there any questions relative to the transfer? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to authorize the transfer.
On authorizing the transfer,
Mr.
Counsel.
Madam Clerk, please suspend. Counselor Davila.
Sorry, thank you, Mr. President. I couldn't get to the hand on time. Chris, quick question. I see that $66,000 for vehicle repairs, accessories. If I recall correctly, we approved some money, we bonded some money for vehicles. Are we talking about the same vehicles, or are these different, whole different batch?
The vehicles that we bonded a year plus ago, through the enterprise fund, we purchased 3 new trash trucks, which are supposed to be coming in the next couple of months. However, our fleet of 35, 40 vehicles is in dire need of service and repairs. So we've been spending a lot of money. We've lose engines on these that are $40,000 a piece. So service that is required on them. But yes, we did purchase 3 new vehicles, and if our budget moves forward next year, we'll be purchasing 5 more.
Right. So this money, the $66,000 is going to be for the trucks, correct?
Yeah, it's repair of all of the vehicles within the enterprise fund.
But what I want to know is specifically, is that going to be for the trash pickups, or is that going to include regular vehicles?
No, it's all trash-related vehicles, all rear loaders, side loaders, automated.
$135,000. Sorry, Mr. President.
I'm sorry, Counselor, I must have talked over you.
That's okay. The $135,000 for diesel, is that also for the trash?
That's for everything within all of the vehicles within the enterprise fund. The cost of diesel has risen throughout the year, and virtually every one of our trucks inside the enterprise fund is diesel.
Okay, so the total you're gonna be looking for, Chris, is gonna be 201,000, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's gonna be vehicles and supplies, 66,000, gasoline, 135,000. Okay. Okay, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Are there any further questions, comments, or deliberation prior to the vote? Say again. Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the transfer.
On approving the transfer, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran. Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The transfer is approved. Madam Clerk,
Thank you,
please,
Councilors.
please call item 11.
Item 11 is for a budget transfer within the fire department in the amount of $65,000.
Deputy Caffo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Lindsay Hackett, Deputy CAFO, 80 Tamarack Drive, Springfield. This is a transfer for the fire department from a surplus in salaries and wages over to the gasoline and diesel line in the amount of $65,000.
Thank you, Ms. Hackett. Are there any questions relative to the transfer? Seeing none. Without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to approve the transfer.
On approving the transfer, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes. Votes are sufficient. The transfer is approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 12.
Item 12 is a reserve for contingencies to Comptroller Department State assessments in the amount of $50,000.
Mr. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. President. The University of Massachusetts Medical School provides the city and the school department with claims processing for Medicaid reimbursement. As part of this contract, the city is obligated to pay 2.5% of the revenue collected. And fortunately, this year, the revenue is coming in much higher than what was anticipated. So with that, we're also going to have a corresponding expense with the University of Mass Medical School. So this $50,000 should get us through the fiscal year.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Are there any questions from the council? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please.
Mr. President, I raise my hand, please.
My apologies, Councilor Whitfield, you're recognized.
Thank you. Mr. Burns, how come we're using reserves for contingency instead of free cash?
That was the account I chose because it's under the discretion of the Comptroller's Department. There's presently a balance of $386,000 in the account. If this order is approved, it will bring the balance down to $336,000.
Oh, reserves for contingency. This isn't the one that we have to keep the big balance in?
No, this is part of the general fund. I believe the initial appropriation for the year was $500,000, and we did add to that. So it's kind of what we use for unforeseen expenses if we don't have free cash available or another funding source.
Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Are there any further questions from the council prior to our vote on the transfer? Seeing none. Without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to authorize the transfer. 2/3 majority vote is required.
On authorizing the transfer, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards. Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The transfer is approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 13.
Item 13 is for bills of prior year for the Police Department in the amount of $3,079.22.
Ms. Hackett?
Thank you. This order is requesting approval to pay a bill of prior year for the police department totaling just over $3,000 from FY22 services rendered using FY23 budget.
Thank you. Are there any questions, comments, or deliberation from the council? Seeing none. Without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on authorizing the bill of prior year. 2/3 majority vote is required.
On authorizing the bills of prior year, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan absent. Counselor Allen. Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The order is approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 14.
Item 14 is an ordinance amending Chapter 178, Fire Prevention, Section 178-5.
Is there anyone here to speak to this ordinance? It is on for second and third step. This is ordinance amending Chapter 178, Fire Prevention. It was forwarded by the Fire Department, I believe, at our last meeting, past first step. Seeing no one present to speak to the ordinance, what's the will of the body? Is there any deliberation on the ordinance? Councilor Fenton?
Mr. President, my recollection is that the fire commissioner was here at the last meeting and that there was unanimous approval for this, but I'll be honest that I don't really recall the content of what it's proposing to do. So if another member recalls and is comfortable proceeding, I don't think there was any controversy, but if nobody's prepared to speak on it, I'm not.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Councilor Davila?
Thank you, Mr. President. I do concur with Councilor Fenton. There was unanimous support in this. If I recall correctly, this has to do with ensuring that any third party that does installation of fire prevention, that the proper filing system goes to the fire department. I don't know, I think it passed committee muster already. Please correct me if I'm mistaken on that. But what the will of the body is, I think that that's to the best of my recollection what it is, but I don't know what the rest of the body wants to do.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. The legislative history, to my knowledge, is that it was brought to us at our last meeting and unanimously approved. It's on for second and third step. The options tonight, members, are either to pass the item, vote it down, send it to committee, or continue it. Councilor Walsh.
Mr. President, if I may.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Walsh has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Reading it, it seems pretty straightforward, and it's a preventative that will be a positive change for the fire department, so I'm inclined to vote for it tonight.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Brown?
Thank you, Mr. President. I also look to vote for it tonight. I mean, if we can, I'd like to move to a vote.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Brown's made a motion to close debate and proceed to a vote. Is there a second? Motion was seconded by Councilor Edwards. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the question. That would be 2/3 majority vote required to end debate and proceed to a vote.
On ending debate and voting, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan, absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The motion to end debate passes. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on final approval of the ordinance. This is on for second and third step.
On approving the ordinance, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez, absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan, absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The ordinance passes. Is there a motion to invoke Rule 22C to allow second and third steps to be considered passed tonight? Motion made by Counselor Edwards, seconded by Counselor Davila. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing no discussion at this time without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the invocation of Rule 22C.
On invoking 22C, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez, absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan, absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. 22C being invoked, the ordinance shall be considered finally passed. Madam Clerk, please call item 15.
Item 15 is an ordinance for Isolation Hospital Local Historic District.
This item is also on for second and third step. Is there anyone present to speak to this item? Ms. Holmes, at this time, we'd be looking for a representative of either the Historic Commission or the administration.
Julissa Davila Ramos from the Planning Department, Senior Planner. I just wanted to clarify that this petition is not being brought forward by the Historic Commission. It is being brought forward by the Springfield Preservation Trust, so I just wanted to make that clarification.
So historic district ordinances, once they end up on our agenda, are brought forward by the Historic Commission. I mean, that's...
So, but the initial petition of the local historic district was brought forward by the Springfield Preservation Trust. So I just wanted to make that distinction.
I understand.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Walsh?
Yes, Vincent Walsh, 51 Catalina Drive, Springfield. This is a petition for the creation of the Isolation Hospital Local Historic District was brought forward by the Springfield Preservation Trust, as you just heard. The petition came through the Springfield Historic Commission in order to get to the City Council final approval. The Springfield Historic Commission, through one informational meeting and one public hearing, in a majority vote, supported the efforts of the Springfield Preservation Trust to move forward with the creation of the local historic district because of its rare Art Deco style. It's the largest Art Deco building in Springfield. The Historic Commission has received letters of support from the Pine Point Community Council and the Mass Historic Commission. So
Does that conclude your presentation, Mr. Walsh?
that's the presentation, but I thought there might be a question or two.
Certainly, yeah. We will move to that portion now. Are there any questions or comments from members of the City Council? And I see Councilor Brown has his hand up.
Thank you, Mr. President. I didn't have questions for the actual petitioner, but I did want to speak on the matter.
Now would be an appropriate time, Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. As the petitioner stated, the actual historic commission, they did meet and they did vote. And I do know that they do want to make it protected as one of the Springfield only Art Deco buildings. It's right there in my area, like me and Councilor Click Bruce, it's like right there, actually down the street from where I reside. But where I'm kind of leaning towards, I talked to some of my colleagues. I'm leaning toward the historic. I mean, of course, I want to support them. We don't want anyone to just come in and do the same thing. These different developers do the same thing that, different issues and problems that I've had in my area, where it be Virgin Circle, just a lot of different developers. They'll have good intentions, but we really have to preserve certain buildings and certain things. It's unfair to the petitioner because we still haven't had a chance to sit down and speak with the petitioner, as far as the petitioner and the preservation and historic and the city council. So really, to me, this isn't something we really, I believe, have to rush on. I believe we should do it the right way. And I want to at least be able to hear from some of my colleagues, but I think this was something that we never really got a chance to discuss as far as supporting the historic significance of the building, but also wanting to know, is there something we can do with the actual person who wants to petition it? So I want to hear from my colleagues, but I really believe this should be moved to committee so we can actually have a real look at it. I know my colleague, Councilor Edwards, it would probably go to his. So I would like to hear from my colleagues, but then I really would look to move this to committee. So everybody that's invested in this particular area, this particular project, has a chance to try to work this out. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. I'm not interpreting what you said as a motion at this time. Is that an accurate interpretation?
Yes, Mr. President, because I'm sure some of my colleagues dealing with the historic portions, and this is something that's important. So I would still want to hear, if my colleagues have anything to say, and then I would look to move to committee. But I want to give my colleagues a chance to say what they want to say, voice their opinion.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. In that case, debate remains open. Is there further deliberation? Councilor Allen.
Thanks, Mr. President. I was involved with conversations this afternoon from about 1 o'clock on because I wasn't sure about this ordinance, or I wasn't sure we had gotten to the finish of the discussions. Talked to Councilor Fenton and I talked early in the afternoon. We each made some calls. One of my calls was to Chief Development Officer Tim Sheehan, who expressed concerns about this as to what would come of it if it were a historic district, and just raised a variety of concerns. You recall that we tried to do a zone change on this a few months ago. It came up, it was going to move from Residence C to Business B, I believe, to give more opportunity for different types of development. That zone change didn't pass, so it remains Residence C. And he was just asking questions about what are the options. We've limited our developers potentially a little bit. This firm that runs it now, Vibra, I think it is, they have one tenant, and that tenant is only in there till July. I hope I'm saying this right. So I'm not sure if they've got another development plan beyond that tenant, but there was just enough questions that we talked maybe half an hour, Mr. Sheehan and I, and he also mentioned a letter that had arrived from the owner, and I know there was some concerns about the owner had never shown up at some things. I was under the impression we had copies of that letter. Do we have that, Mr. President?
Yes, Councilor Allen. The letter was transmitted to us just prior to the meeting this evening. I believe it was emailed to all councilors, and the clerk has a copy of the letter.
So it was emailed. Okay, I wasn't sure if we had hard copies.
The letter was emailed to the city solicitor and forwarded to the council.
All right, thank you. So he read me that letter, which was addressed to City Solicitor John Payne, with basically, I don't want to, anybody can read the letter then if it's in our emails, but I talked to John Payne about it, and I don't want to speak on his behalf, but he had some concerns, let's just say that. And so maybe Ken Shea could speak to it or something, but there was enough in that 2 or 3 hours that I was talking to people about this, there was enough for me to feel like it might be premature to vote on it. So I would support putting it in committee and hearing from everybody so we would have all the perspectives before we vote on it. Those are my comments.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Councilor Fenton.
Is Attorney Shea on the Zoom to maybe speak to this? I understand there was a letter. I haven't read it.
I am on. Can you hear me?
We hear you, Attorney Shea.
Okay,
Councilor Fenton, Councilor Fenton, do you wish to hear from Attorney Shea at this time?
I sure do, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Attorney Shea, you are now recognized.
Thank you, councilors. The Law Department did receive a letter a few days ago, and I just saw a copy of it today. And it outlines in the letter, in the closing part of the letter, what's bothering to the Law Department is that it outlines the possibility of legal action should the city council go forward with this petition. Now, the city does have a right to do that, but what I'm asking is that the council, if you could send this to committee or to table it to the next meeting, it would at least allow the Law Department to investigate the legal claims that the owner is making. Oftentimes when properties come before us in the historical, it's either the property owner requesting it or it's a neighborhood. This is a little different. And I think it would be fiscally responsible if we allowed the Law Department to at least look into this and address the issues before we go forward so that we aren't ultimately confronted with a lawsuit that we could have avoided if in fact that's the case. And I know that from my time on the council and sitting in on the council meetings now, no councilor enjoys paying out taxpayer dollars on lawsuits. And so I think it would behoove us to buy a little bit of time. We're not asking for a lot of time. I would think at least a week or to the next table it and have a subcommittee meeting on this. That would give us time to look into the legal ramifications, see if they're justified, and at least allow us between the Law Department and the city to protect the taxpayers' interest. And so I would ask you to either forward to committee or to table it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Shea. Councilor Fenton, the floor remains yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do see a gentleman standing in the audience here. I don't know if he's a representative from the owner or not, but if there is somebody who's here on behalf of the owner, I'd like to hear what they have to say about the subject.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Stephen Wagner, 152 Clearwater Circle, Ludlow, Mass.
Floor is yours.
I'm the director of Vibra Hospital. Currently, the 30-bed locked psychiatric unit that remains in that, the rest of the building is vacant. Been part of that program for 27 years. It's existed there for the last 27 years. And the contract that's currently through the Department of Mental Health of Massachusetts is scheduled to end sometime around July of this year, at which point the building will become vacant.
So, sir, are you a representative for the owner of the building? Has the owner of the building, is that?
Vibra is the owner of the building. They have concerns about their ability to market the building if it becomes, one part of that parcel becomes historical.
I understand.
We do have the realtor involved with this situation here if you need to speak with them. But there is concerns about the ability to sell the property if one portion of the portion in the middle of it really becomes historical.
Okay. I would make a motion to committee, Mr. President.
Councilor Fenton has made a motion to committee. Was seconded by Councilor Walsh. Is there any discussion on the motion to committee? Councilor Edwards on the motion.
This goes to, I'm familiar with this building as a 63-year-old man who grew up on Wellington Street and traversed to Blunt Park past this hospital. This place has been an eyesore and a project that has needed attention for decades. Regardless of who owns it, and I believe Vibra is probably the third or fourth owner in my lifetime. We knew it, those of us who are old enough remember this as municipal hospital. I even believe that there was a part of the hospital that had a morgue in it where bodies that were picked up across the city were delivered to that site. This site needs to be developed, regardless of what committee this goes to. The fact that this has gone before the Historic Commission and other commissions and agencies across the state and been a part of discussions, and we still haven't seen the owner show up. He wasn't here for the other meeting, brings great concern to me in the lack of urgency. Our job is, I'm not interested in seeing the city sued or us having to pay out, and I will respectfully support the, and I believe that the appetite from my colleagues is for us to either be tabled or sent to committee, but I expect to see the owner of this property at that whatever meeting and before whatever committee that we deem appropriate for this to be discussed at. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Edwards. Is there any further discussion on the motion? On the motion, Councilor Davila, followed by Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. If you allow me, I have a question for the Mr. Stephen Wagner, I believe, sir. Thank you, Stephen, for being here today. And I just want to make sure that I heard you correctly. So you are the director of BIPOC, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, the actual owners are not present, correct?
That's correct.
If I'm not mistaken, you did say that you guys are concerned to your ability to sell the building if it's declared, part of it is it's declared historic, correct?
Correct.
So basically, your objection, not yours, but the people you represent, is your ability to sell the building, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. President, I do echo Councilor Edwards' words. I am very concerned that the owners are not here. I'm also concerned that a couple hours before that, the letter sent out. To me, it shows not really a lot of interest or taking it seriously. I have to say, Mr. President, I never do well when I'm threatened with legal action. My job is to ensure that not only the people that are represented, but also to keep the character and the soul of the city. This is the only Art Deco building in the city, Mr. President. And I have to say that if MGM came into town and they were able to save the old State Armory on Howard Street, many historic buildings on Union Street, and the first spiritualist church, I'm sure that Barbara, who's been here for a long time, is not going to have a problem, in my opinion, in marketing that location. Let's also remember, Mr. President, by declaring this a historic district, it also opens up any potential development. As we all have heard through many developers and many requests that have come to this council for special credits. So with all due respect, Mr. Wagner, I'm not buying that if we pass this, it's going to impede the owner's ability to market this building. To be honest with you, I am leaning in not supporting this to go into committee because at the end of the day, we're not guaranteed that this is going to be demolished. And we know that there's a serious push for that to happen. So I'm leaning against it. Those are my words. Those are my words, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. On the motion, Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would have to, I do agree with my colleague, Councilor Edwards. My main reason why I would want it to go to committee isn't really leaning toward anything toward him, because I'm very disappointed. When you look at certain people who want to develop and purchase our area, you'll get an individual who, like the motorcycle building, the Knox building, Gordon Pulsifer has came to the meetings. Now, and then you take another example, Virgin Circle. I try to find those people all the time, and there's who knows who own it. I have a lot of problems and issues, and you cannot get a hold of the owner. So this throw red flags. I want the owner to at least come in. I don't want to stop business or redevelopment. My main thing, supporting and trying to get it into committee to at least let the owner come and at least talk to us. It does Springfield, it does the area, it does everybody a disservice. If it's that important, why isn't he here? It might be a reason, but I believe if the hospital, if it's dire need, and the realtor, if it's dire need, dire need the owner to at least come and sit in front and let's talk about it. Dire need that for me. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Is there any further deliberation on the motion to committee? Seeing no further deliberation on the motion to committee, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the motion to refer this item to committee.
On referring the item to committee, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez, absent. Counselor Whitfield. Counselor Whitfield. Away. Counselor Govan, absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
No.
No, Counselor Letterman.
No. Madam Clerk, can you please recognize Councilor Whitfield one more time to see if she's able to vote?
Counselor Whitfield.
I'm going to abstain.
Abstained.
Abstain.
The votes are sufficient. This item will be referred to the Committee on Economic Development. Madam Clerk, please call item 16.
Item 16 is Healthcare for the Homeless Revolving Fund.
Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight, we're asking for second and third step approval of the establishment of a Healthcare for the Homeless Revolving Fund. This will amend the ordinance and set up the revolving fund under Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half. Presently, the operations of the Health Department clinics are recorded in a special revenue fund. After an analysis by the Office of Internal Audit, it was recommended that the city move forward and set up a revolving funds to record these receipts and disbursements.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. This item's on for second and third step tonight. Are there any further questions from the council prior to our vote? Seeing no further deliberation amongst the council, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the ordinance.
On approving item 16, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez, absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan, absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The ordinance passes. Is there a motion to invoke Rule 22C to allow the ordinance to pass tonight, second and third step? Motion was made by Counselor Edwards, seconded by Counselor Whitfield. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to invoke Rule 22C.
On invoking Rule 22C, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez, absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan, absent. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes, the votes are sufficient. Rule 22C is invoked and the ordinance shall be considered finally passed. Madam Clerk, item 17 is on for automatic referral to the Planning Board. I understand no further action is necessary this evening.
Correct.
In that case, it shall be considered read and referred. And at this time, please call the final item, item 18.
The final item is the NCAA Chip-Off Classic.
Councilor Click Bruce.
Thank you, Council President. I want to bring forth a resolution in regards to the Tip-Off Classic, something near and dear to my heart with it, which is basketball. But I think it's more than that because we're the birthplace. And this is a game that was birthed in the city of Springfield. And I think it's only right that we get this back to the city of Springfield. I saw State Rep Pupolo made a resolution as well to petition to former Governor Baker, who's actually over the NCAA president. He's actually the NCAA president, Charlie Baker. So I'm going to read the resolution. Whereas the city of Springfield, city council and the city of Springfield would be more than pleased.
If we could suspend any conversations happening in the gallery as you're speaking directly into the microphone, which is broadcasting the proceedings this evening. Councilor Click Bruce, I apologize. You may proceed.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, whereas the Springfield City Council and the city of Springfield would be more than pleased to host again the NCAA Tip-Off Classic back in the birthplace of basketball. And whereas Marine veteran, former city councilor, city council president, and Marine Service Director M. Walsh III was a founder of the first Tip-Off Classic and Peach Basket Festival, is also the proud wife of the dean of the city council, Catering Walsh. And whereas the games played at what was the Civic Center and now Mass Mutual Center were held from 1979 through 2005. And whereas there were many events held leading up to the main event, including the Peach Basketball. And whereas Springfield has hosted basketball games since the Tip-Off Classic, including for many years Division II Championship and the Metro Atlantic Conference Tournament. And whereas the Mass Mutual Center has seating for over 7,000 spectators. And whereas a Tip-Off Classic with prestigious teams participating in Springfield will fill hotels, restaurants, and sell out every seat in the Mass Mutual Center. And whereas it would also be beneficial to all to include a women's Tip-Off Classic as well. And whereas the Final Four game played by Louisiana State versus Iowa in April became the most watched women's Final Four of all time. And whereas we are joining State Representative Angelo Pupolo to bring the start of college basketball season back to where the sport began. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Springfield City Council respectfully requests its former Massachusetts governor and new NCAA president, Charlie Baker, to bring back the Tip-Off Classic to the city of Springfield, where it rightfully belongs. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Click Bruce. And I know that Councilor Walsh would like to speak on this resolution, and she will be speaking from the public podium so as to be able to accurately portray some of the significant items that she's brought with her this evening. Councilor Walsh.
Yes, as you can imagine, this issue is very close to my heart. The idea for the Tip-Off Classic started at 42 Magnolia Terrace, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that Danny was a Providence College fanatic for basketball. At the time he was at Providence College, they were winning the NIT with Ray Flynn. He was a huge basketball fan, and he and Joe Oth were determined that the first college basketball game of the year should be held in Springfield. So they put together a committee that consisted of Milt Pepple, who was an All-American from Notre Dame, and also the athletic director at AIC, Ed Stites, who was the athletic director at Springfield College, and the inventor or creator of the three-point shot. So he had a lot of credibility, former Mayor Sullivan. And as it said here, the Tip-Off Classic Committee, they got the job done. And I would say that the success of the Tip-Off Committee had an awful lot to do with Danny. He was the moving force behind it. It was his idea. He created the committee, and he created all of the events that went with it. But he also had the personality to get it done. And as I was explaining to my fellow counselor, Mike Fenton, the reason that we got these teams and the reason I brought the Tip-Off Classic North Carolina State Houston program book is that when the final buzzer blew at the NCAA, Danny was on the floor going up to the coach and saying, "Will you come to Springfield and play in the Tip-Off Classic?" And Jim Valvano said he said yes, but he didn't know what he's saying yes to, but he came, and the rest is like history. And as LeVar said, not only was it the game, it was the excitement of the game. It was the Peach Basket Festival luncheon. I don't know if any of you here have these souvenir sundaes that were created for the Tip-Off Classic. It was the Peach Basket Ball. The first year that they had the ball, the attendance was terrible. So then Danny said, well, if you want a ticket to the game, you have to go to the ball. From then on, the ball sold out. It filled 2 hotels. They had such names that came to Springfield, Duke, Kentucky, Jim Valvano, Michael Jordan, Vinny Del Nego got his start here. I mean, it was magic. The Tip-Off Classic was magic, sold out. And one of the things that they did that we all liked was the Tip-Off Classic created a coaches' wives breakfast honoring the wives of the Final Four coaches that came. It was so popular, the University of Louisville incorporated into all their committees. So it was very well attended. They lost their exemption. At the time they lost their exemption, Danny wanted to bring women into it, and they need to get it back from the NCAA. I think it's terrible that the first college game of basketball is not played here, that the tip-off is not played here, and all the road race, tennis, golf that went with it. It was an economic boon for the city of Springfield. And I have with me not only the Sunday glass, but of course the Tip-Off Classic that was won by the committee. And I also have with me the poster from the first game, Duke, Kentucky. And I am donating this to the Springfield City Council because the founder of the Tip-Off Classic sat in this body and was president of this body at one time. So all of you better vote yes to recreate the Tip-Off Classic and bring women's basketball here.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Brown on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank Councilor Walsh and her family for the work that they've done. I want to thank my colleague, Councilor Bruce, for the work that he's done and the rest of the colleagues. This is something that's very important. I know a lot of people, if you look at the percentage of colored people, blacks in the NBA, we are, we have a dominant presence. So this is something that's great. I definitely appreciate my colleague, Councilor LeVar Click Bruce. This was something that we been needed to do. And maybe the only thing that was holding Councilor up is that he can't beat me one-on-one in basketball, being the head coach at Commerce. But we'll leave that to another discussion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. I don't want to have to be in a position of enforcing the rules of decorum. Councilor Hurst.
Money on LeVar. No disrespect, Councilor Brown. No, but in all seriousness, I appreciate Councilor Click bringing this resolution forward. I mean, it's a no-brainer for all of the reasons he's previously stated. In addition, Councilor Walsh, thank you to you, and Danny for all of the work that he put in to make this happen, to make this come to the city of Springfield. And it just doesn't make good sense that we're not able to get it back, and quite frankly, that it's not here now. So I'm certainly supportive of this resolve, but only under one condition, and that's that you get my alma mater, the University of Virginia, to play in the first tip-off classic that we have here in the city of Springfield. So I don't know if that's possible. Listen, we've been there before, and we should have had it then. So certainly, I think we can make an exception if they don't make it in the coming future when we get it back. But I'm sure they'll certainly be in competition at the very least. Thank you all.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Councilor Davila on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. I am pretty happy to co-sponsor this resolution. I echo the sentiment that this is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer because of the economic impact, or the economic multiplier on the city will be fantastic, from jobs, from restaurants, and also bringing back some of the pride of the city. We should have never lost it. After all, we all know basketball was invented here. And by God's grace, the first game should be here. So I am happy to vote for this. And also, not only for the city, but it will be a good a way to recognize a colleague of ours, Springfield City Council, former President Danny Walsh. Danny, as we all know him. Great man, great man. He will just light up the room with his smile. And Councilor Walsh, I am honored to vote yes on this resolution. And please be aware to all that are listening on the powers to be, bring back the Tip-Off Classic to the city of Springfield. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Allen on the resolution.
Thanks, Mr. President. As I look around, I say I might be the only one who can remember the Tip-Off Classic. You guys are all like 2 years old when it started, but anyway, it was a terrific event. There's no exaggeration in Catery's presentation. It was a terrific event. Met Mark Aguirre at one of the, I think the second year. Kentucky and Duke. DePaul played the next year, I think, and I went every year. And it's something, obviously it's a no-brainer, but it would be a great way to honor Danny. It would be a great thing for the city to get it back. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor. I didn't see me on there.
Madam Clerk, please add Councilor Brown as a co-sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Are there any further comments on the resolution? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to approve the resolution.
On approving the resolution, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez, absent. Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan, absent. Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the resolution passes unanimously. Madam Clerk, is there any further business properly brought before this council?
There is not.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before we adjourn, I just had a quick announcement. I meant to make this at the beginning of the meeting, but I wanted to ensure that councilors were aware that there is now an online sign-up form on our city council page on the city's website, both for individuals who wish to participate in public speak out. They can sign up by going to the website and filling out that form and indicating whether they'll be participating in person or virtually. There's also an online sign-up form for individuals who want to attend a subcommittee meeting virtually. So in addition to contacting the council office directly, people can sign up through the website. And I just want to thank the clerk, the IT department, and our staff in the office for their assistance in bringing forward that opportunity. And with that, we will stand adjourned. Thank you.